Hello, today we have Mark White, CEO of Nexalin Technology, trading on the NASDAQ under the ticker NXL. Mark, welcome to the show.
Hey, Craig, it's always a pleasure.
Nexalin Technology has been described as a pioneer in deep intracranial frequency stimulation, or DIFS. How does this technology differentiate Nexalin from competitors in the mental health treatment market?
Well, obviously, this is a non-pharmaceutical, so the bulk of the competition comes through medication. So this is non-pharmaceutical, non-invasive neurostimulation of the brain. What makes Nexalin so unique is the ability to stimulate deep in the midbrain. This is where mental health disease and mental health illnesses, quote, what we say lives. And the idea is to penetrate safely without any side effects, patient discomfort, or risk, penetrate deep into the midbrain. Other techniques are extremely limited on their stimulation. In other words, most of their stimulation is very surface of the brain, so you get very little response and you actually get some patient discomfort. For Nexalin, the fact that we can go deep into the midbrain where the mental illness lives, the fact that we can carry these frequencies deep into the midbrain and stimulate the neurons and create a response towards health and wellness, in other words, eliminate the symptoms of mental health disease, is what makes Nexalin so different from every other technique that's currently in the market.
Mark, could you share some insights into the growth potential of the neuromodulation market and how Nexalin plans to capture a significant share?
So the easiest way to answer this question is, for about 15 years now, the scientific industry realized that the future of mental health treatments was going to be stimulating the brain, light stimulation, sound stimulation, electrical stimulation, magnetic stimulation. What specifically Nexalin is doing is focusing on stimulating with an energy pattern that's frequency-based, that mimics the natural electrical energy already in the brain. So when we start talking about how do we intend to capture the attention of not only the scientific community, but the academic community and the patient community, is because we're going to offer a treatment that's 75 to 90% effective. Most, if not all, stimulation techniques are less than 40% effective. It's safer, it has no risk and no adverse side effects. From there, it's about publishing with good scientific data created in the academics, both in the United States and internationally.
Phase 1 of Nexalin's virtual clinic integrates AI with the Generation 3 Halo device. Could you explain how this platform enhances the patient and physician experience and why it's a game changer for mental health treatments?
Okay, so the first piece of the puzzle when you say game changer is obviously the technology. It's really difficult in these short presentations to help your listeners and all of our investors understand this is not like any current neurostimulation device on the market. So there's number one. Number two, AI integration. So more so in America, but all over the world, we're a quick fix society. We want a seamless interaction with whatever our treatment, our cure, whatever the standard of care may be. So the idea is to create an AI ecosystem that focuses on the Nexalin stimulation technique in a headset that can be worn on the head in the privacy of your home, with AI tracking the user experience, tracking the response of the headset to the cloud. Did you use it? When did you use it? Did it work? Did the impedance work? Did the microprocessors work? On the other side is the physician using AI to track the responses so that they're no longer spending, in this case, 5 to 7 minutes trying to interpret where their patient is. They can literally have a summary through an AI-trained platform that will give them a quick summation of where the patient is, the client is. Are they responding to treatment? Was it safe? Was it effective? And then you take the whole entire experience and you're able to actually analyze how the patient is responding. Because remember, Craig, for everyone out there, ultimately you take this technology that is a game changer, you put it into a digital ecosystem, what we call a virtual experience. So the entire management, prescription, treatment profile, everything is handled in the clouds, in the apps, in a digital system that is all eventually going to be managed, monitored, and streamlined. Most importantly, enhanced efficacy through the AI engine.
A recent peer-reviewed publication in Psychotherapy and Psychosomatics validated your DIFS technology, Mark. How important are these endorsements in building investor confidence and expanding market opportunities?
So I'm holding that article here. This is a significant article because what this peer-reviewed publication does is, as I said a few minutes ago, it's been, quote, game on in the neurostimulation world. Everybody was trying to find a way to stimulate or create a positive response in the brain. And Nexalin realized early on that the only way to actually truly create a long-term 80 to 90% response was to penetrate deeper into the brain. And in order to penetrate deeper into the brain, you needed more power. In order to get more power, you needed to be able to create a power band very similar to the power, to the energy, if you will, in your brain. And so what this article does is compares ECT at the most powerful form of stimulation all the way into the toys on the internet, direct current stimulation, alternating current stimulation, magnetic stimulation, shock therapy, etc. And it finds that basically the Nexalin treatment, with its low risk profile, its high efficacy, and its patient comfort, is truly the future of neurostimulation.
Now, can you discuss the FDA clearance process for that Gen 3 Halo headset and its significance for accessing the United States market?
So as many of you are aware that have been following Nexalin, we took a global approach first. Rather than investing literally 30 to $50 million in the American market, we went offshore into international communities, reputable neuropsychiatric centers, so that we could actually validate the technology in a clinical setting, controlled trials, active and sham. And what we were able to do was build this robust data set. I think that we've got 19 different clinical trials that are either underway, have been completed, or in the process of being published. I think 10 of them have already been published. And the reason that's important for the FDA relationship is as we come back into the American model, while we continue to develop the international model, we come to the FDA not as a hypothesis, but a safe treatment with technical validation, clinical validation, which creates a unique relationship with the FDA that we're developing literally as we speak. And so that requires pivotal trials, large 150 to 200 patients in the United States, that the FDA would have literally a collaboration with our regulatory and clinical teams to make sure that the technology that's been validated offshore in the international markets is now going to be mirrored in the United States in an FDA clinical path that was managed and advised on with the FDA and our regulatory team. The future of this technology in America relies on the medical clearance for this medical device.
You've announced a partnership with UC San Diego and the San Diego VA to study veterans with mild traumatic brain injury. How does this align with Nexalin's broader mission, and what impact could these results have on future applications?
So again, the focus of Nexalin has been in three primary areas. Number one, we've discussed it several times, what we call our primary mood disorders: anxiety, depression, insomnia. These are what we call the primary mood disorders. And the second area of interest has been in the military. We have a subsidiary called Nexalin America that has an advisory board with retired and current executives and political members of the political, inside the beltway, as they say, political military scene. The idea is to build and develop the technology based on the needs of the military to address those that have been injured in a traumatic brain injury or PTSD scenario. So it's extremely important for that. The third area of our interest is not only in the primary mood disorders and the TBI and the military issues, but it's also going to be in addiction So substance use disorder, opiate addiction, alcoholism, which ties into the TBI, PTSD model as well. And then, of course, last but not least, and we're not really talking about this much today, but the Alzheimer's dementia. You know, Craig, I'll remind you and everyone at RedChip and all of your viewers that we've recently published 2 clinical papers, controlled active sham investigations that were peer-reviewed and published, demonstrating responses in the brain that indicate a reduction and possible slowing of the Alzheimer's dementia disease. So that's a lot of information, but that's the clinical model, and a large part of it begins and ends with our very close relationship with UCSD in Southern California.
In summary, Mark, what's the essential value proposition? Why should an investor take an interest in Nexalin right now?
Okay, if you go into our website or go online and Google Nexalin and look at the press releases over the last 12 months, go in and look at some of the funding and how well we manage capital, and last but by far not the least is the high efficacy of this technology. I can tell all of your viewers, as I've said over and over the last 5 years, the future of mental health care is non-invasive neurostimulation that's able to penetrate deep into the brain with specific frequencies that evidence-based science has proven responds in a health and wellness manner. The future of Nexalin and the future of this waveform is the ability to bring that technology into the home through that virtual clinic that I've talked about. So we've answered the stigma of mental health treatment. It's in the privacy of the home. We've answered the no medication model, non-invasive, drug-free treatment. We've handled the side effect profile that patients don't want to experience. There are no side effects. There are no adverse events. As I said, this is the future. Nexalin Technology. Take a look at how well we manage our capital, how well we manage all of our clinical evidence, and you will see literally a tsunami of activity for companies that are probably valued at 5 or 6 times what our company is currently valued at, and you'll see very quickly what the value proposition is.
It's a great story, Mark. Thanks for being with us today.
It's my pleasure.